two, one.
Good evening, good afternoon, good day. This is Grimnag,
And Frieren.
and this is the Aussie couple with another week of stories and articles.
Yes.
We have some nice ones this time. Doesn't sound like they're all evil or dark or anything like that.
And it's another long weekend.
So, oh yeah, for those of you in America and the rest of the world, this was ANZAC Day weekend, where we celebrate the Australian military and past uh,
ANZAC.
soldiers. ANZACs, yes.
Lest we forget.
And by the way, for those who don't know, ANZAC stands for Australia and New Zealand, hence the ZAC in there.
Army Corps.
Yep. So both our Kiwi friends and the Aussies are all celebrating this day together in our own ways
Celebrating and remembering.
on the 25th of April, every 25th.
Yep.
Moving on into this week's in news, we'll start with some science news. This one comes from Science Daily. What happens in the brain when your mind blanks?
Yeah. Brain farts.
So I figured this was an appropriate one for those of us getting older and walking through doorways and forgetting completely why we walked through the doorway in the first place.
Well, that happens to me all the time.
Mind blanking is a common experience with a wide variety of definitions, ranging from feeling drowsy to a complete absence of conscious awareness. This sounds a little bit more serious than our normal "why did I get up" type blanking.
Mhm.
In an opinion article published April 24th in the Cells Press journal, Trends in Cognitive Sciences. There are a lot of weird medical journals out there, aren't there? Very specialist, very, very specialized. A team of neuroscientists and philosophers compiles what we know about mind blanking, including insights from their own working observations of people's brain activity. During wakefulness, our thoughts transition between different contents. However, there are moments that are seemingly devoid of reportable content, referred to as mind blanking, writes the research team, which formed as a result of collaboration at the 25th annual meeting of the Association for the Scientific Study of Consciousness in Amsterdam in 2022. Wait,
I call mind blankness brain farts.
I'm with you, but there's an association for the scientific study of consciousness that's been doing this for 25 years.
Okay. Is
That,
there a joke in there somewhere?
that's what I'm wondering. It just sounds very odd way of putting things. I know science guys like to name themselves weird things, but it just
Yeah, it gives
seems
themselves something important.
yeah, it does sound like I am part of this group here. What do? We think about thinking because it's a science of consciousness. So it's we think about thinking.
Okay.
I know.
You've had too much of cheap beer or something.
I haven't had any yet. Somebody didn't put it in the fridge when it came in, so I have to wait for it to cool down.
Well, there's four of us in this house, so
Yeah.
pick somebody.
I blame Jet. In the past, mind blanking has only been studied using research and experiments developed to study mind wandering, a similar internal experience in which our thoughts flow seamlessly like a stream. The researchers argue that mind blanking is a distinct experience that involves feeling sleepier, more sluggish, and making more errors, and should be inspired by mind wandering research but considered independently. We sought to better understand mind blanking by parsing through 80 relevant research articles, including some of our own, in which we recorded participants' brain activity when they were reporting that they were thinking of nothing, explains the author Athena Dimitris of Giga Research at the University of Liège, Belgium. Takeaways from the research include, and this is basically where I'm going to stop, mind blank frequencies varies greatly between different people, but a person experiences the phenomenon about 5 to 20% of the time on average. So this is something we all go through, where you just kind of
20%? God, that's generous.
Common experiences defined as mind blanking include lapses of attention, memory issues, and a cessation of inner speech, among others. Well, at least I have an inner monologue.
Yeah, I talk to myself all the time.
Mind blanks tend to happen towards the end of long, sustained attention tasks like exams and after sleep deprivation or intense physical exercise, but are also a typical waking state. So, like when I have to drive for long periods of time.
So that would explain all my brain farts because I have a lot of sleep deprivation.
Yes, yes, you do. Not my fault. I didn't do it. Children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, report mind blanking more frequently than neurotypical people. Mind blanking is a part of the clinical description of generalized anxiety disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. It is also relevant to several other clinical conditions, including strokes, seizures, traumatic brain injuries, and Klein-Levin syndrome, which causes people to sleep up to 20 hours per day.
God, I wish I could sleep up
I
to
knew
20
you were
hours
going
a
to say
day.
that. Experiments observing brain activity during rest using techniques including fMRIs and I can get this one, encephalography,
Electroencephalography.
ENS, electroencephalography show that there are specific neural signatures in the frontal, temporal, and visual networks of the brain before a mind blank.
You wouldn't make a good doctor.
No, I would not. I'd be like the picture thingy. During mind blanks, after sustained attention tasks, people's heart rates and pupil sizes decreased, and their brains showed lower signal complexity, a state typically observed in unconscious people. During the blank, they observed disruptions in sensory processing and slow, sleep like EEG waves. The authors describe these states in which parts of a person's brain appear to sleep as local sleep episodes. An increase in neural activity in posterior cortical regions can also lead to mind blanking, as is the case when high speed thinking leads to slower cognitive function. So if I think too fast, I have to hit the brakes.
Yeah, because,
I'm speeding. I have to put the limiter back on. When people were prompted to actively empty their minds, researchers observed deactivations in the inferior frontal gyrus, Broca's area, supplementary motor cortex, and hippocampus. Research speculate that the common factor between different forms of blanking may
is
be
it
related to change.
hippocampus or hippocampus?
Oh, you're right. Hippocampus. Hippocampus is something else.
I have no clue.
Hippocampus. The researchers speculate that the common factor between different forms of blanking may be related to changes in arousal levels, leading to a malfunction of key cognitive mechanisms such as memory, language, or attention. Well, that's always weird. I find it just interesting that there's an article for everything and a study guide for everything, and that's just how the human experience
People always
is.
have a lot to say.
Yes. And a lot to talk about and think about and do, I guess. Oop, wrong thing. But let's talk about something a little bit more Australian and American at the same time. From our friends at 7 News, Taco Bell experts and superfans reveal why Mexican-inspired eatery struggled in Australia. Because it's junk Mexican food. It's that simple. That's
Yeah.
my answer. Parent company Collins Foods is discussions to selling the chain. So Taco Bell has done not very well here in Australia. I don't know how well it's doing in America.
I don't think I ever liked Taco Bell.
I
I think I preferred Del Taco.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You liked it so much you had chips from there when we were having your daughter,
Your daughter?
our daughter.
Our daughter?
A Taco Bell superfan who hassled the Mexican-inspired fast food giant to open in Perth is disappointed, but like several experts, not totally surprised to hear it now faces an uncertain future in Australia. Parent company Collins Food is already in discussions with Taco Bell International regarding a potential sale of the business and hopes to have a deal done within the next year. If a buyer is not found, the company said other exit options will be explored, meaning all of its 27 local eateries could be shut down. Yeah, we actually have one here in the Newcastle area, and I've been to one in Sydney. There's the only two I've ever seen in the country.
Yeah.
As part of the commitment to sharpen our focus and align resources to profitable growth, we have made the decision to exit the Taco Bell business, Chief Executive and Managing Director Xavier Simone said. James Corby was at the front of a long, snaking line when Taco Bell opened its first WA store in Midland in September 2021. Corby, who moved to Australia from the United States aged 8, made it a job to hassle the chain's management to launch in Perth. I was obsessed at the time, he told 7 News on Tuesday, but added, I'd love to say I'm surprised about the potential closures, but the fanfare from the community wore off pretty quickly. Yes, because you finally got to eat it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the junky junkness of Taco Bell, but they didn't go either far enough into it or far enough away from it for Australian market.
It's just junk. It's not really genuine,
Oh, it's like, for example, that I like that thing, right? That's a crunch wrap, right? And
Okay.
it's a silly, stupid. Let's make a burrito and taco into a sealed sandwich, like a toasty, right? So it's like take a taco, like tostados, take two of them close together, wrap them
Yeah.
in tortilla, and then squish it with a sandwich press like you would a toasty, and that's it. Which is fine and all, but it's very, 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 very junky, right? So it, and of course you've got chips because it's Australia, and the sauces were never around because Australians can't take the spice, and then the junky spice they bring out they kind of hid things like that. Corby, now 25, believes a number of factors have worked against the Taco Bell gaining a foothold in Australia. He said work colleagues were more inclined to jump on cheaper meal deals, exactly, from competitive drive-thru restaurants and just not offering of Mexican food. He believes lack of locations means Taco Bell is not always a close option for hungry consumers, and he thinks the likes of G&G, Guzman and Gomez, have the edge with Australians because they market themselves as fresh and authentic. Even our daughter likes G&G over Taco Bell. And ultimately, though, he hopes a deal can be done to keep Taco Bell serving customers in Australia. I'm really disappointed, but I guess it's hard to be too disappointed when I've had it twice in the last few years. I generally hope Taco Bell gets sold and opens a spot closer to me. But Taco Bell eateries were behind a $36.7 million impairment to Collins Foods' balance sheet. I like how they sell it impairment instead of saying, hey, dude, we lost money. In 2023, with earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation down 1.3% in 2024 after falling 3.2% the year before. Brian Walker, founder and chief executive of the Retail Doctor Group, believes Taco Bell's current situation is unsurprising given the highly competitive nature of local quick service restaurants landscape. The Australian quick service sector is worth approximately $29.6 billion and compromises more than 7,500 outlets nationally. A lot of local stuff, too. We have a lot of locally, like you say, takeaway shops over the chains. McDonald's alone operates 1,000 restaurants across the country, while Taco Bell's direct competitors
1,000 too many.
in the Mexican fast food category, including Guzman and Gomez, Zombero, and Mad Mex. I've never seen a Zambero, by the way. Are well established, operate in premium locations, are well tuned to local markets, and are highly efficient operators. Basically, for those in America, they're all like Chipotle in a lot of ways, where it's like, hey, look, here's your tortilla, put your stuff in it, wrap it, give it to you, done. Taco Bell is a powerhouse brand in the United States with over 7,000 outlets globally, but it doesn't enjoy the same brand recognitions of emotional resonance here. Also, we don't have
No, because we're far away from Mexico.
that, and we don't have the whole drunk food feel in Australia as much.
Us Aussie drunks go to McDonald's.
Exactly. And the Taco Bells that I've seen aren't in a place where you're going to get like drunk drive-through people, right? Where it's like, remember in Las Cruces, it was right there off the freeway. You could see it. So even in your blurry state, or you're driving your mates at the 2 a.m, it's open because it's 24/7.
Well, you would know that better than me.
I was always driving there that time of night because that's when my shift ended. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. They were always like Jack in the Box, Taco Bell. Neither one would work here because they're very much like drunk food, and you have to deal for that marketplace. It's cheap.
I mean,
junk
Aussies
food.
like their junk food, but they also love their healthy foods.
Yeah, and Taco
and
Bell is
their
not.
fresh foods.
Taco Bell's not. It's like I said, they didn't lean into being junk food
Well,
by being cheap and fast.
That's why a lot of people are stopping to eat and aren't eating Subway anymore here.
Yeah,
because it's 2 day old.
or feels that way. May or may
Feels
not
that way.
be.
Yeah.
But like I said, yeah, they didn't lean into being like a junky American thing. They leaned into being, oh, we're Mexican food fast. Oh, but we don't say that at all. We say live
They
Moss.
should do like keep doing the Mexican thing, but with an Aussie twist.
Yeah, but
taking Australia's culture into consideration.
and I think they tried that with their seasoned chips or fries, but it just kind of like you
We
didn't.
don't do seasoned chips here. We do like salt and vinegar or chicken salt.
Yeah, well, that's what they have. They have spicy seasoned chips.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work here.
It's such a competitive environment, you just can't dip a toe in the water. You'll need a full-scale, well-funded, and locally tuned launch strategy. Locally tuned being key there. He added the established players like McDonald's have had decades to embed themselves in Australian culture.
Culture.
Yeah, especially because we have a term called Macca's even. There is no shorter for Bell. I mean, Taco Bell. How do you shorten that Aussie style?
TB.
Tacos? Let's go to Tacos.
Let's go to TB.
TB. Yeah, again, I can't.
Tuberculosis.
Exactly. But yeah, you can't hear an Aussie guy going, let's go get some tacos, mate. Or we'll go to Macca's or Macca's. But I can't say it because I don't do Aussie accents at all. So
You don't do any accent.
I don't.
Well,
They're more than just fast food. They're part of a national routine, he said. Walker believes Taco Bell may have struggled with brand positioning, particularly around health perception. Even if they weren't targeting the health-conscious segment, the perception of processed American-style food may not have aligned with the evolving Australian tastes. Tone and localization matter. If you're offering feels too foreign or overly manufactured, you risk missing the mark with local audiences. Yes. Also, that's the most bland, generic logo for Taco Bell. Taco Bell previously failed to successfully expand in Australia in the 80s and 90s. Queensland University of Technology retail marketing and consumer behavior researcher Gary Mortimer believes the first two attempts came too early, before Australians had developed an appetite for Mexican fare. But I think the third attempt may have come too late. The market's really crowded, he told 7 News. In this investor call, Simone
Simonette.
said, is it Simone or Simone? Simonette.
Simonette.
I think it's French.
Just keep saying Simonette.
Simonette said, we will continue to deliver high quality food at accessible prices, leveraging the heritage of the KFC brand at a time when consumer trust has never been more important. Mortimer believes the decision by Collins Food to offload Taco Bell and focus on his core hero brand, KFC, was ultimately the right one. Yeah, KFC works in Australia.
It does.
RMIT University economics lecturer Meg Elkins said the cost of living pressures are a big factor here, with the expense of takeaway meals broadening higher than many families are willing to pay. Agreed. We're changing our habits and we're not doing those weekly takeaways as much. Elkins told Seven, and if we are, we're doing the local takeaway shops. We're not doing McDonald's or KFC or something.
Yeah. Local businesses.
Yep. Adding the
More.
same could be said that about coffees, and pub parmigianas. Pub parmies. Why did you just call them?
Parmigiana.
I know what that said, but I'm like, why didn't you write parmies? Because it's an Aussie news article. Anyway.
Because not all the audience is not all Australian, and we get it.
Australian, a priority market. In a statement, Taco Bell Corp said Australia remains a priority market for our brand. We are committed to Taco Bell's long-term growth in the region, a spokesperson said. Of course you're going to say that. Oh, we're getting out. We're just going to ditch Australia. They're not going to say that. They're going to say we're part of the long-term brand. They might just move them to the airports and call it done. You know?
Yeah, grab all the Mexicans on their way out.
We are actively exploring a translation to a new ownership and will continue to invest in the market alongside the right franchise partners. Building on the strong foundations already in place, we will continue to deliver the bold flavors and unique experiences that Taco Bell fans know and love across Australia. And that's it for that article. And this mouse is being funny again.
Yes, as I've said, my mouse is dying.
And again, I was always a Del Taco guy. I grew up in, Del Taco Town. Barstow is the home of Del Taco, so
Yeah.
kind of important.
Mhm.
Also, you could get chips by the cup, which was not a good thing for me, but you could.
Yes.
Don't go looking at my belly like that. They can't see it, so why should you say it? All right, next up, also from 7 News, James Harrison, the hero with the golden arm who saved 2.4 million babies with over 1,100 blood donations, dies at 88. He has changed my world, and I'm sure he's done that for many other families. Now, we saw Dr. Mike talk about this guy.
Yeah, he
The
was
other week.
donating, what was it, plasma? Oh, no,
Yeah,
blood.
It became blood, then it started off with blood, and then they found the cure thanks to him and became plasma.
Right.
James Harrison, the world's most generous blood and plasma donor who saved 2.4 million Australian babies, has passed away at 88, leaving behind a life-saving legacy. This guy is like the king here in Australia when it comes to medical science. He's was such a great guy. After donating plasma more than 1,100 times over his lifetime, Harrison passed away peacefully in his sleep at the Peninsula Village Nursing Home in the Central Coast on February 17th. Wow, he's just down the road.
Sure, yeah.
Wow. He has changed my world, and I'm sure he's done that for many other families, making him a very incredible human, said Rebecca Ind, a recipient of Harrison's blood donations during and after her pregnancy 12 years ago. Harrison's plasma donation journey began in 1954 when he was just 18 years old, and he continued regularly for more than 6 decades until he reached the age of 81. Over the years, he donated almost every 2 weeks, with 1,162 donations from his right arm and 10 from his left, earning him the title of the Man with the Golden Arm. That's a guy who's really wants just this arm to be poked.
Well, maybe he didn't have good veins in his left arm.
Well, I remember, I don't know if they're going to show it, but in the earlier video we saw with Dr. Mike, he was afraid of needles and would always just look away while they're doing it, and it's the only way he could do it. So maybe he just likes looking left instead of looking right. Oh. Robin Barlow, the coordinator of what?
So funny.
Robin Barlow, the coordinator of Australia's RH program, which was established to prevent hemolytic disease of the newborn, HDFN, said she had been friends with Harrison for almost 60 years after recruiting him as a donor. He made my job very easy because he was so keen to donate all the time, Barlow told 7 News. I never had to worry about him. I never had to call and say, hey, when you coming? Nothing like that. He was there standing in front of me. Barlow said that even when Harrison went on holiday, she still had to arrange for him to donate in another state to ensure he never missed a session. Harrison decided to give back after receiving multiple blood transfusions at the age of 14 for his lung surgery. He was 20 years old in this picture. Seemed like a nice guy. I was always looking forward to donating right from the operation because I don't know how many people it took to save my life, he told NPR in 2015. While Harrison continued to donate, medical professionals made a remarkable discovery. His blood contained a rare antibody vital in saving the lives of more than 2 million babies, just like In's daughter Isla.
Isla.
Isla. James Harris' life saving Rebecca's. Oh, that's Rebecca there. Okay. So I have a negative blood group, and my daughter has a positive blood group. So to prevent hematologic disease of the newborn, I receive these anti-D donations because of the opposing blood types. In explained to 7 News. The anti-D helped prevent In's body from developing an immune reaction that could attack Isla's blood cells. Harrison's blood contained unusually high levels of anti-D, a rare concentration that made his donations invaluable. Very few people have these antibodies in such strong concentrations, Gemma Faulkner of the Australian Red Cross Blood Sources told Sydney Morning Herald. Oh, no. His body produces a lot of them, and when he donates, his body produces more. Good on his body. He's like, hey, you're going to donate a lot. Barlow said before this discovery of Harrison's donation, some women had tragically lost up to 10 babies due to this condition, which is just scary to think of. People don't realize just how bad we were at reproducing over the centuries. How many times either the mother died or the baby died or the baby died again or both. I'm saying the next baby, not the same baby dying twice.
Yes.
Don't give me the weird. They can't see the weird face you're making at me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. If you're going to make a thing, make a sound.
Okay.
Like her?
No, that's
That's
Tim Allen's.
Two what?
Tim Allen's.
Allens.
Tim Allen.
Oh, Tim Allen's. I heard 2 Mallons. Ow! It was a huge change. It was a revolution in medicine, Barlow said, adding that Harrison's 1,173 donations, the lives he had saved, were countless. As one of the many beneficiaries, In spoke highly of Harrison's extraordinary dedication. I think anybody who donates blood to help save a life is incredible. But for someone to have dedicated such an incredible amount of time in their entire life to help everyday families like ours to have some healthy children is a pretty special human being. Harrison was forced to stop donating at age 81, having surpassed the age limit for donors. I didn't know there was a top age limit for donors. I guess he hit it. He was very reluctant to retire, Barlow said. His final donation took place in 2018 at the Town Hall Donor Center in Sydney, surrounded by mothers of anti-D babies. Jeez, they made a spectacle out of it. I'd keep going if they'd let me, Harrison said at the time. Barlow, who was present during Harrison's last donation, described it as a joyous day, but added he, Harrison, was a little bit sad that his chapter was coming to an end. Just like Harrison, Ind is also a regular plasma donor, and many others have been inspired by him to follow suit. I hope that his story will inspire other people or their other families to roll up their sleeve and give blood in his memory and his honor and help fill the gap, Ind said. Harrison's daughter, Tracy Mellowship, also an anti-D recipient, shared how proud her father was of the lives he saved. It made him happy to hear that about many families like ours who existed because of his kindness. He always said it does not hurt, and the life you save could be your own. Lifeblood CEO Stephen Counson AM paid tribute to Harrison's extraordinary generosity. James extended his arm to help others and babies who would never know a remarkable 1,173 times and expected nothing in return. He leaves behind an incredible legacy, and it was his hope that one day someone in Australia would beat his donation record. I give blood now and again, but I'm not a regular at it.
Well, no, and you're not. It depends on what's going on with you, whether you can donate or not.
Yeah, well, I remember I was told I should donate more often because I have too many blood cells. So it helps to have my body empty them out
Right.
now and again. I'm like, well, I don't mind. But then that's also before they diagnosed me with blood pressure. So
And diabetes.
yeah.
So
Still, I can still donate blood, and anybody can basically
I
donate
can
blood.
probably still donate blood. I just haven't done it.
Well, let's see. Let's get down to the last 2 fun ones. These ones should be pretty just entertainment news from Ars Technica. Ellie Fanning teams up with the Predator
L.
with a. It's L.
L.
Elle Fanning teams up with a Predator in first Predator Badlands trailer. Live action film is directed by Dan Trachtenberg of Prey fame. Okay, who's Elle Fanning? I don't know who Elle Fanning is.
Do you remember that TV show? And I'm doing air quotation marks. of the she married the king of something, and he wanted to kill her. It was a comedy. It was full on comedy.
Oh, Anna the Great.
Yeah, something like that.
She was Russian.
Yeah, she was Russian,
Oh,
and
she
he was,
married into the Russian dynasty, but she wasn't Russian. That thing.
yeah,
The
and
blonde lady.
yeah, her.
Okay. Mm. Obviously, I'm not a name person. I don't recognize names. It's not every day you get a trailer for a new live action Predator movie, but today is one of those days. 20th Century Studios just released the first teaser for Predator Badlands, a feature film that unconventionally makes the classic movie monster a protagonist. The film follows Deck, Demetrius Schunzer.
Why do you bother saying the actor's name?
Is that his name?
Yes.
I thought that was the character's name.
No. It's
Okay.
probably the actor that acts as Deck.
Okay, you're right, probably. Deck, a young member of the predator species in society who has been banished, he'll work closely with Wayland Yutani's android named Thea to take down the ultimate adversary, which the trailer dubs a creature that can't be killed. The adversary looks like a very large monster we haven't seen before, judging from the very few shots in the trailer. I doubt it. I bet you the big monster is just like quickie, hey, look, this is how cool I am, kill it off sequence. Although that's assuming they can make a trailer that doesn't show off the entire movie in the first 30 seconds. Some or all of the film is rumored to take place on a Predator homeworld, and the movie intends to greatly expand on the mythology around Predator's culture, language, and customs. It was intended as a standalone movie in the Predator Alien universe. I Only thing I've been seeing all over X in the nerd sphere is just the picture that they have at the end of the trailer where he's opening his face and just looks weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the Predator's real face.
Yeah, but the way they did it in this one because it's a CG face and not a mask face, at least that's the way my opinion is of it.
It's not a CG face.
It sure looks like a CG face.
I'm not sure if it is, but I've actually have seen them with that mask on, and how they had to like make the mouth work
Yeah, and I
on the
know
actor.
I know on the earlier ones, sure, but I don't know about this one. This one it looks CG and not good CG. I'm just saying,
Uh huh.
I like that stuff, the nerd stuff of science fiction and special effects, and that's what made the Predator movies so cool and the Alien movies. They were hard.
I like all Predator movies. Actually, the only one I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Arnold Schwarzenegger one too much because I don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the City one, with Danny Glover.
That was you just named both of the Predator movies.
Yeah, I know. But I enjoyed the Prey one. The Prey one was good. I enjoyed that one. Do you want me to slap you upside the head again?
No, but I just find it amusing that you're like, I like Predator, except for the Predator movies. Because you basically named the two Predator movies.
I was on the Predator side the whole time.
I
Kill
understand.
those nasty humans.
I understand. The trailer depicts sequences involving multiple predators fighting or threatening one another. See, that's fun for you. Lots of predators. Ellie Fanning looking very strange and cool as an android, and glimpses. Elle Fanning looking very cool and strange and cool as an android, and glimpses of new monsters in the alien world and movie focuses on. Predator Badlands director and co-writer is Dan Trachtenberg, who directed another recent highly acclaimed standalone Predator movie, Prey. That film put a predator in the unusual antagonist role in a historical setting, following a young Native American woman who went up against it. Trachtenberg, who also recently been working on an animated anthology series called Predator, Killer of Killers, which is due to premiere on Hulu, which is also called Prey, on June 6th.
See, and I liked the movie Alien vs. Predator. I was on the Predator side the whole time too.
Predator Badlands will debut in theaters on November 7th. This is the first teaser trailer, so we'll learn more in subsequent trailers, though we know quite a bit already, it seems. And I think that should be a bad thing right there. We shouldn't be able to know everything about a movie the second you see a trailer. That just seems to be the current thing in trailers. It's like, oh, let's give away all the good stuff. You know, it's like,
no need to watch the movie anymore.
That's what you say every time we see a trailer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our last article for today.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it should be fun.
Hopefully, it's not going to be one of those where I say, there's an hour of my life I won't get back, but,
Hour.
2 hours.
Yeah, most of these are going to be 2 hours. Backwards compatible. Many old Oblivion mods still work on the Oblivion Remastered. The modding community is already hard at work despite lack of official support. Now, you never played Oblivion. You're not a big first-person role-playing person at all. But you did play Elder Scrolls Online,
Yeah.
so this is just some of the stuff that's in online started in Oblivion, like the entire Imperial capital, that entire section of the middle
I don't know.
part of the game.
I watched Oblivion on YouTube, and I wasn't quite sure on the graphics.
Well, it's a huge jump from where it was back in 2009 when it first happened, or 2006. Bethesda isn't officially supporting mods for the newly released Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, but that hasn't stopped some players from discovering that many mods created for the 2006 original seem to work just fine in the new game with a bare minimum of installation headaches. As noted on Reddit, the Bethesda Game Studio Discord, some ESP mod files designed years ago for the original Oblivion have the same effect when plugged into the new remaster game, which I find amusing. Ours confirmed this during some quick testing, using a mod uploaded in 2008 to easily add high-end weapons and armor to opening jail cell scene in the remastered version. I'm glad that they linked to that mod, by the way, or at least noted it.
Well, sometimes you just don't want to play vanilla. You want to
Just
enjoy
do
the
it.
game, but not have a tough time.
And the browser crashed. Oh, goodies. Ooh, fill time while the browser reloads. Wow, I died. Or his whole computer died. Oh, there it goes. Okay. You didn't see that. Nothing happened. We're doing it live. Keep going. Okay. Well, here's something the original game could use the Oblivion mod manager to easily install these mods. Doing so in the remastered version requires a bit more manual work. Not like it was ever hard. It was always just like move files into the file structure and you're done. First, users have to download the applicable ESP mod files and put them into content dev, object dev, data folder, the same one that already houses DLC data files like DLC horse armor.esp. Then it's just a matter of opening plugins.txt in the same folder, adding the full .esp file name and to the plain text list. Early testers report that some of the more complex mods designed for the original Oblivion will lead to crashes or mixed results when loaded in the remaster game. Others theorize that the game seems to read OG Oblivion as its base, so manually adding in a mod that doesn't have new assets would work. As the community continues to analyze this modding backwards compatibility, other modders have already rushed to release dozens of new mods designed specifically for the remastered version, even without official support from Bethesda. Well, it's because it's all built on Unreal Engine. Everybody knows how to work with that engine, so modding it makes sense. At this point, most of these seem to focus on basic UI tweaks, quality of life hacks to make the game more user enjoyable, and we're particularly fond of this one that makes slow walking NPCs a bit faster. More complex mods may require diving into the Unreal's pack file format to replace in-game assets with new modded versions. That means it's probably just a matter of time before we get the equivalent of the custom Mystic Elf race modded back into the newer version of the game. And I like this bit. I understood that reference. It was a good. Horse Armor is the original DLC. Like I bought a full price game. You're charging me what to add what to it, and that was 2006. So it's one of those things. It's infamous in gaming history. Granted, you weren't a
Really?
gamer yet. Yes, that's why you don't. You're making actually no faces whatsoever when it comes to Horse Armor.
Yeah,
jokes.
no, I'm having brain farts right now.
Ah, well,
Yes, I started gaming in 2007.
7, 2006, 2007.
2007.
Yeah, because you're playing WoW, which a great game as your first game, but definitely missed this entire thing.
Yeah, I didn't have time before that. I was working a lot.
Well, it never even came into your mind.
I didn't even know that universe
Yeah.
that universe existed.
Not at all. It wasn't your thing. And that's fine.
Now it is.
Yeah. But now you have your entire own section of it that I don't even know anything about, basically.
Nope.
I look over your shoulder now and again, and that's about it.
Call it that.
What?
What?
You don't say that's looking over your shoulder? Seeing what you're playing?
No.
What did you call that?
You don't look over my shoulder.
I do.
Well, the only time you step into this room is to say something to me.
Yeah, and look over your shoulder when I do it.
Nah.
Nah. Well, that sounds like a good disappointing note to end this episode on.
What was the disappointment again?
Nah. We hope you guys have a great week, and we look forward to talking to you next week. This is Grimnack.
And Frieren.
You're going to just say your real name at this point.
No, because it's either Frieren or Frieren. I always confused Frieren because of fries, and it's like, yeah, anyway. Okay, bye.
Bye.